Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Samantha, and today we are going to be discussing books. More specifically, we are going to be discussing the books that I read during February and the books that I plan to read in March. Hopefully, we'll see how it goes. Let's get started with the books that I have already read. I read 6 books, a 3.25 average rating, and a lot of different genres. We did like a literary fiction romance month this month, which was kind of nice. And I read 2,500 pages, which seems like a lot, but I don't know. Maybe it's not. You tell me. The first book that I read was Andromedia by Therese Bowman. This was my book of the month pick. This is a translated work from Swedish to English. It is about a romance, an office romance between a publisher manager, like the manager of a publishing company, and a employee. This is very interesting. So this is written very European literary style. If you don't know what that means, it just means that it's very professional. It is very, the prose is just very professional, if that makes sense. Because of that, I had to give it a lower rating just because I think this book would be better if the writing style was a little less formal. Because the emotional impact just wasn't quite there. I think this is a fairly emotional topic. Not only the romance, but what the characters are discussing, their love for literature, their love for books, and life in general. And then I think it just would have been better with a little bit of an informal prose, more informal prose. This book is like half from her perspective and the other half from his perspective. Like I said, this is like a 3.5 rating. I did like the themes in this book. I just wish that the writing style was a little less mature. I think we need a little bit more emotional impact in that one. The next one I read was The Gentleman's Gambit by Evie Dunmore. Now, this is a Regency romance. This was the 4th book in the League of Extraordinary Women series. This was probably my least favorite. I think that's mostly because I did not care for the male main character. I found him to be very pretentious, almost rude, and kind of controlling. I'm not going to lie to you guys. So the premise of this book is that we have Miss Katrina, and she is a very intelligent woman. She is highly educated. She loves anything to do with the academics. Her father is very supportive of this. Like I said, this is Regency timeline, right? So Victorian era. And she bumps into Mr. Elias, who is from the Middle East. He's come to London to acquire some museum pieces that were illegally taken from the Middle East. He's kind of on like an undercover mission. Katrina's father has relations with like the museum, has some professional relations with the museum. So he's hoping to woo her and him in order to get these artifacts back. The issue I had with this book was the main male character. So to be honest with you, Katrina's apparently not like the glorious beauty. Like she's not really the mainstream beauty. And he has no problem talking about this constantly throughout this book. He's always like, oh, she's not really my taste. She's not really like that beautiful, but gosh, I really do like her. And he has to like convince himself to like her, as weird as that is. And then there's an incident in the book where he just takes on like, he's mad at her for helping him. And it's a very controlling attitude. I just didn't really like it. I really didn't like the main male character. So yeah, that's kind of It's the last in that series. I loved the series though, so don't let that book dissuade you from the entire series. As far as Regency romances go, this series was really good. It's a League of Extraordinary Women, so I would recommend that. That book, however, not my favorite. The next book I read was Ruthless Vows. I don't have a physical copy because I just listened to the audiobook for this one. It was a great conclusion. Lately, the conclusions to series has not been it for me. But this one was really good. I do think that the big bad was kind of defeated fairly easily, and that was annoying. But as far as like wrapping it up for all the characters' plot lines, I really appreciated this book. It was a little twisty, which was exciting. Kind of high stakes, which is nice. Like I said, a very solid ending to a series. I think I rated this one 4 stars. Yeah. It's a really great series. I highly recommend it. I'm not selling it very well at this point, but like I highly recommend the series. It's beautifully written. The prose is beautiful. The writing's beautiful. The characters are to die for, and the tension is mwah. I loved it. Okay, it's a very good enemies to lovers romance. Okay, the next one is Lost and Lassoed. This is a Rebel Blue Ranch cowboy romance. You know, I love my cowboy romances. This one's really good. I love Teddy. I think Teddy, I felt a connection with Teddy, which of course means that I'm gonna rate it higher. My romances, I find with my romances, I have to have a little bit of like a connection with the characters, or else I just don't quite like it as much. This one is very good. I'm also a sucker for a single dad. And Gus is a single dad. Highly recommend. I love this series. Next to Elsie Silver's series, Cowboy Romance, which I'll put right here. This one is really good. In fact, this is probably my favorite out of the series. Yes, this was the romance for this month, by the way. Okay. The next book I read, Babel by R.F. Kuang. This was my Dark Academia for the month. Love this. Love this. This was 5 stars. Will have a spot on my bookshelf for a very long time. This is about colonialism, the power of language. It's technically about a young boy who is taken to London to study language because of his ability to speak in, I think it's Mandarin. And they live in like this fantastical world where you can write words on a piece of silver, and those words can undo an object with what that word means. So they linguists and translators, and language is very important to the society. And he and a little thrown together group at this academy that is Oxford. To be fair, it's like a fantastical Oxford. Find themselves really questioning like their role in society as immigrants, as people who don't necessarily fit into the social structure of Oxford and London in itself, and also like start questioning colonialism and the effects and bringing to light the effects of colonialism. And it's just a beautifully written book, and it also has some great themes that are very important to society, and it had a lot to say, and I understand the hype for this book. This book is important, guys, and I highly recommend it. It is worth the read and the time. I know I'm late to the train. That book's been out for like 3 years now, but it is worth it. It's worth your time, all right? The next book I read was East of Eden by John Steinbeck. I'm not going to talk much about this book. I did give it 5 stars. This is the 3rd time I've read this book. I have an entire video about this book. So make sure you subscribe and then go check out this video if you're interested in East of Eden or any of John Steinbeck's books. I think I've made a video for every single one of them, so check that out. This could be a very long-winded video if I wanted to talk about East of Eden. The last but not least, which I'm not going to say much about either, Cain by John Toomer. So Cain is a collection of stories written by John Toomer during the 1920s. This is a collection of stories about slavery. It's during the Harlem Renaissance, so it's about Black communities and culture, and how they struggle to fit into culture and society at this time. And John Toomer himself is a biracial person, so he has a lot of perspectives on that. His perspective is based on the fact that he's biracial, and we have like this Harlem Renaissance going on during the time that he's writing this, and really just talking about like the Black community and their culture and how they're fitting in and where they're finding themselves, how they are finding themselves. And it's very intriguing, very interesting. It's a good, easy read. If you want something to educate yourself on this perspective, being biracial in America during this time, and even being Black in America during this time, I highly recommend. I will talk more about this in a future video because this was for my African American literature course. So look forward to that. And like I said, make sure you subscribe so that you can see this video if you are interested. But yes, we read this as well, and it was good. It's hard to rate books like this, by the way, and I'm not going to rate these books. But yes, this was a good one. Now, if I still have your attention, I'm going to talk about the books I'm going to read in March. All right, give me a second. Okay, here we are, my loves. Funny Story by Emily Henry. This is what I am currently reading. It's going to be a carryover from February. So far, it's not looking good. I'm not going to lie to you guys. All right, so look forward to that unpopular opinion because I don't know if it's going to turn around anytime soon. The next book is, let me get it. Carryovers. You know what? Let's talk about carryovers real quick. I'm going to read Dirty Diana. It's my book of the month pick from November. This book is about a woman who goes on a journey of self-discovery after kind of questioning her marriage and her lifestyle and how she might want to change up her lifestyle a little bit. Apparently, it's very sexy. If you can't tell from the cover, we'll see how that goes. It's a shorter book, so I'm excited to get to it. I'm kind of sad I didn't get to it in February. I'm probably not going to read Half a Soul. This is probably going to go back on the TBR shelf for now, but this is on the radar, guys, for spring. Now, another book I'm currently reading, One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. I'm 25% into this book, and I've already cried, sobbed, absolutely devastated. So, parallel to Funny Story, well, opposite of Funny Story, I think we're looking for a good book in this one, all right? So look forward, like I said, subscribe, look forward to this being in my wrap up because I think I'm gonna have a lot to say about this book. I think I'm gonna enjoy it a lot, so I'm excited about that. My cowboy romance for the month, Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver. Her book oh my gosh, what is it, Wild Side, I'll put it over here, just came out this month, so I'm going to read this book real quick, and maybe we might have to go on a little book shopping adventure and pick that book up as well. So this book is about Skylar, who is a country singer who comes to Rose Hill to kind of get away from the limelight, and she meets up with a single dad. The trope that I guess I'm into. I don't know. That's why I bought this book, by the way, because I knew that it was going to be about a single dad romance, and that seems to be the trend lately. But yeah, he has a boy and a little girl, and she falls in love with them. I'm assuming there might be a nanny situation as well. Maybe not, but we'll see. I'm excited for this one. Elsie Silvers, I would literally read her grocery list and be like, eggs, 5 out of 5. Good protein choice. The next book I'm going to read is Deep End by Allie Hazelwood. Me and Allie Hazelwood do not have a good track record. I don't know why I keep picking up her books. I think it's because I really want to like them because I love the premises. I've seen this book everywhere. I find that it seems to be love or hate. This is supposed to be the spiciest of her books so far. I don't have anything to say about Allie's Hazelwood's spice. I think it's fairly decent. It's fairly good. Her tension's good. Her banter is good. The problem I have with her books is that the female main character is always tiny, like childlike tiny, not just like, oh, she's skinny and pretty, childlike tiny. And the man is like Kylo Ren, if you don't know, 6'5", a hand the size of her head. And it's very odd and very weird, and it just weirds me out, and I don't want to read her books. Also, she's very upfront about her political views on feminists, and I don't quite align with them. So sometimes that's a little hard to read through. But we're going to give it a try. We're going to give it another try. I'm rooting for Hazelwood. Look, I literally gave her my money. I'm rooting for her. I need a good book. So this is on the docket. I don't actually know what it's about. I know obviously it's about some sort of swimming, some sort of competitive swimming. And like I said, it's super spicy. So we're going to give it a try. The book I'm most looking forward to, though, Realm Breaker by Victoria Aveyard. So this book is apparently like Lord of the Rings, but the bad guy has won, and this ramshackled group of people are going to try to overthrow him. And I love that concept. I love it. I also follow Victoria Aveyard on social media, and she's absolutely a doll. Her Red Queen series is what everybody knows her for. I'll like put it up here, but this is her like adult series, and I'm here for it. I love her writing style. I think this plot sounds very intriguing, very interesting, and I'm a character girly, so her characters sound just as intriguing and fascinating. So I'm here for it. That's where we're leaving it for now. I'm also reading a Zora Neale Hurston book, but that is for classes. It is, what is it called again? Barbacoa. It is a anthropology. I'm sorry, an anthropology. She's an anthropologist, but is it her interviewing the last slave to come from Africa on the ship Kalita, the last surviving person to have ever come from Africa as an imported slave to America? Very intriguing, very interesting. The professor said we weren't allowed to read it in one sitting, that we had to take it slow. I'm trying to take it slow, but I really do just want to read it in one sitting. Zora Neale Hurston is slowly becoming one of my favorites authors. But I'll talk about that more in my wrap up and also in my wrap up for the semester. So that's it. But that's it for today. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for giving me an audience to ramble about books. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you subscribe. Comment what your most anticipated read for this month is, and also your opinions on Funniest Story. I need to find somebody else who didn't like it. And Jesse, if you're watching this, I know that you didn't like it either. And then like the video, and I will see you guys later next week. All right. Bye.